Yeah, I attended the old Stalker school from 1960 to 1967, kindergarten through 6th grade. What stands out most is probably 5th grade, as many field trips as Mr. Lewis would take us on, and just how great he was with kids stands out the most. I took a lot of weekends with him down to his cabin on the river, helping him with that. Just he just really stands out more to me than any of the other teachers that I had there. Well, that old blacktop was pretty hard. As far as the playground itself, it's a lot the same, other than they have the sawdust or sand or whatever they have now, where we had blacktop under us. And you would feel it when you landed on it. Back then, we went home for lunch or went out for lunch every day. They don't do that anymore. I can remember going to the Three Pigs later, 5th, 6th grade. I can remember going to the Three Pigs, a few other restaurants in the area. Where Lincoln Plaza is now, there was a Crowder's drugstore there, totally different building. The owner actually lived upstairs. He had an ice cream parlor attached to that old building, and me and 2 other classmates broke the front door out of it at lunchtime one year. There was a pretty good mess made out of that, but it got taken care of. The boiler system, it scared some people. I was used to coal and wood heat anyway, so it didn't bother me, but the pipes would make a little rattling noise once in a while, and it was a little different for the average person. It was very, very few ate lunch at school. Most of us all went home or to a nearby restaurant or had a packed lunch and went outside, or nothing like today where everybody goes to the lunchroom. The lunchroom there was small, and there was very few that actually ate at the lunchroom back in those days. In '62, when President Kennedy got killed, they took us all downstairs to the lunchroom, and it was a packed room. They had one little black and white TV, and we watched the news about President Kennedy's assassination from probably 1 o'clock on till the end of the school day. And then the building itself, the basement had one humongous big war station out there. You stepped on it and the water came out, but it was a big circle where when you came out of the restrooms, you washed your hands out there. They weren't in the bathroom. There was just a big war station out in the middle of the basement floor, which they had a small little library in the basement, and a couple other rooms down there, and a boiler room, of course. A couple of vending machines, and that was something new back then. Vending machines hadn't been around very long. I loved the brownies out of it. There was this big, we had a big basketball court outside down the bottom of the hill, and then there was jungle gyms and a big merry-go-round. They had just a couple of things on the west side. It was a teeter-totter and a smaller set for the smaller kids. Usually went to the west side. On the east side's where the bigger kids usually went. But then there was a hill there in the winter that you could slide down, and we took advantage of that when we got snow. I was lucky enough, I only lived a block away, but everybody walked to school unless your parents just absolutely had nothing better to do than to drive you, and that was very, very rare. There was never a snow day in my school career. Through all 13 years in school, kindergarten through 12, there was never a snow day. Hardly nobody rode their bikes to school. We all walked. The ones that lived farther away would start, and by the time they got to school, there was a pretty good little crowd. Yeah, it'd take us half an hour to 45 minutes to walk home, or to walk to school. Weather didn't matter. We still went to school. I liked basketball, but I didn't actually play any sports for the school. My grandson played basketball for Stalker in 4th and 5th grade, but I didn't. I was more interested in hunting and fishing and getting my chores done. I was either out riding my bicycle, or later on I was out in the backyard learning how to pole vault, where the garden usually was, or I was, in the winter, I was hauling in coal and coal buckets for the coal stove that we heated with. We were outside playing. We was playing in dirt. We wasn't playing video games. Little cars, or little metal cars like Matchbox cars, only they weren't that good back then. They were just little metal cars. World's changed a lot. Well, the name Stalker School has been around for more than 120 years. I'll be heartbroken. I know 5 generations that's went to Stalker School, from my mother-in-law all the way down to my grandson. It's heartbreaking. I don't agree with doing away with some of these smaller schools. That's where the education's really at.